good evening. You're welcome to Extra Time right here on Real FM 95.1. This is where we debate some of the hottest topics in football right now. We've got UEFA Champions League games currently going on. It is a UEFA Champions League night at this point. Barcelona already in action. Good result so far for them as they near the end of the first half. We'll give you updates of that one during the course of the show, as well as a lineup for some of the key games as well coming up by 8 p.m. For now, we're here to debate some of the hottest topics, and it's not as big as it can be right now for Liverpool in terms of the results that they are getting. And if you look at their form right now, it is 4 straight losses on the bounce in all competitions for Liverpool. 3 losses on the bounce in the Premier League. I've seen them move from first place to 4th place right now. My name is Philip Pulidio. Biomis here, and we're here to look at exactly who is at fault for Liverpool's bad form at this point. Is it the manager, Arne Slot, or the players? They've spent a lot on their players and bringing in new signings with £400 million spent on acquiring the services of the likes of Kirkers, the likes of Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Ishak, the likes of Leone as well. They spent a lot of money, but right now they are not seeing the rewards of these players, and it feels right now that Liverpool are a much worse side than we saw them last season. Obayomi.
Well, this case is something that you have to, not just look in one direction. Do you understand? When you are talking about who's at fault for Liverpool's, downfall, and I've always said it with the way they've been making signings and all that in the beginning of the season. If you could remember, my bold prediction actually was that with these signings that they're making, they're actually going to follow really bad. Do you understand? And everybody were saying, "Oh, it is over. They are going to run away with the Premier League." And I'm just like, you guys actually have to chill out. But I'm talking about who is, at fault for Liverpool's downfall. Both parties are at fault, to be very honest. But it's something that you have to look at it in this direction. That obviously both parties are at fault, but I believe that one carries more faults than the other. Do you understand? And if we are going to look at it in that direction, I think the coach actually, the coach
Going down the path of the
I
coach.
think, yeah, absolutely. And I was trying to justify that because of with my bold prediction in the start of the season. I saw the kind of players that you were signing. You brought in so much attacking force. And there's there's nothing to complement it in the midfield and in the defense as well. Yes, you have the best defender.
They wanted Jay, they didn't give him Jay. You should know that.
They actually got him. They got
They got him late.
Yeah, they got him late. He was actually good.
It's not his fault that they never paid.
Actually good. And then again, like I said, not just in the midfield, not just in the defense. Yes, you have the best defenders. In the midfield as well. Do you understand? Like I've always said, I said yes, they don't have bad midfield. The midfielders might say they are not bad. Yeah, McAllister, Zoboslai, Gravenberch, good players. But let's be honest, those players are not cut out to defend. Those players are not cut out to withstand pressure. And that's something you're going to start facing week in, week out in the Premier League. Do you understand? Especially with the West coming into that midfield. Doesn't have the physicality or the intensity to be in that. So those two other guys, the 2 other pivots, they have to really do a lot of job for him. And meanwhile, Gravenberch is not that kind of player. He's very good on the outcome, very good at ball carrying and all that. But when it comes to making defensive draws, tackling, making interceptions, he's nowhere to be found. And as a manager, you should have seen this. Especially last season, let's be honest. The reason why they actually won the league is because every other team, essentially, they're not informed. And that's why the Liverpool won the league. So I believe that it is it is definitely down to the manager.
I think that the manager has his fault as well, and personally for me, I don't think it helps when he makes some of the comments that makes in the media. I look at the players and I look at the lineup he used in the Chelsea game and the Manchester United game, because pretty much the same lineup. And looking at that lineup, it's a good lineup. It's good. You've got Mamadashvili in goal, Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, Kirkers. You know, because in terms of what he did last season in Premier League was one of the best, even though he has his flaws as well. Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, that's the midfield trio that won them the league last season. We did have arguments on this show a couple of times last season about the best midfield trio. That midfield trio came up. Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo, and then Ishak was pretty much the second best striker in the league last season. I think the players are not pulling up their weight. I look at Salah first, of course, he's the highest profile player in there. What has he got this season? 2 goals, 2 assists also. He's absolutely poor. 7 games in a row he hasn't scored. I think he's one of the reasons why the team is playing badly. Because his that chances fall to him. That is not converted. That Salah would usually convert. But Gakpo is the only one I can say is doing his job. Van Dijk, maybe first 4 games, it did really well in terms of his clearances and whatnot. But then you ask a question as to why is he not able to make so many clearances. The last 2-3 games haven't been great from his own standpoint. At this point, I'm starting to get tired as well of the argument for Ishak saying he didn't have a preseason, whatnot. No, it's because he didn't have a preseason, he didn't provide that one-on-one with Lamens on Sunday. So Busta has been good as well. Gravenberch not so strong. McAllister. These players are not playing well, and we've seen the last 2 games. They didn't play well to the level they should. When they had the 2 chances, they didn't convert it. Not a lot of the new signings played. Started the last match, by the way. Only 2 started the last match. And they still didn't perform well.
Actually, when I said the manager is actually at fault, I said it initially that the reason why I feel like it's at fault. I'm not going to say that is because it's due to, yes, there are some flaws in the tactical setup as well. For example, the game against Chelsea, I believe you shouldn't have removed Konate so early. I believe you should have removed Konate. Then you had one. You were not playing Burnley, or you were not playing
for a goal.
You at Stamford Bridge. A point will have been good.
Would have been better.
I think
they were coming off what two losses in a row from that. At that point, 2 losses in all competitions. At that point, 3 points would have been good.
And a draw would have been a stop loss for them. It would have been a stop loss for them, and they wouldn't have ended up making four losses in a row.
Robertson came on in that game. Robertson made a sprint, got back into his box, and had his hands on the knees as well when the ball was on the other side. That's not the manager's fault.
That's my point.
Why are you resting in your box when the opposition is attacking?
If you're not taking off your centre back, Konate essentially would have been in that Robertson position. It was on, I think, McGee or something like that. Do you understand? I believe Konate was in that game. Konate was in that box. Most definitely.
We've seen Konate as well this season. The Crystal Palace game comes to mind. Crystal Palace, we all know in the first half could have been what? 5-0 up, 6-0 up. Half of those chances were because of Konate's mistakes, were because of the passes he wasn't getting right. So, and that was the game. That was a Premier League game before that. The Champions League they played as well before that. Osimhen was having fun with Konate. Van Dijk had to then take up more of the responsibility and became a 1v1 most times with Osimhen and Van Dijk. He was making mistakes. That was the week of that. So take him off of that game. I mean, I understand it. He's not going to think about it and say, yes, I want to get 3 points in this game. But this player has been shaking the last 2 games. Let me take him off so that I don't lose the 1 point that we have at this point. Konate wasn't the best at that point.
Actually, yes, he was not the best, but at least he was doing his job.
Oh.
He was not the best at that point.
He was doing his job against Crystal Palace and Galatasaray.
At least the game against Chelsea, at least I believe he was doing his job, and he was doing it efficiently. He was marking out the true balls and all that. He was cutting out passes and all that. He was actually doing a very decent job, to the extent that in fact
he and his partner didn't do their job in the first half when Caicedo scored.
That was clearly on the setup of the coach. On the setup of the coach, because set up the midfield.
It's the same midfield.
Was because no other team, Man City were not informed. Arsenal was because no other team, Man City were not informed. Arsenal actually had the same point as I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong now. Arsenal actually had the same point as I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong now. The same point with Chelsea.
No, 3 points more.
3 points more than Chelsea. I think the same goal scored with Chelsea or something like that. Can you imagine? Chelsea also at some point it felt like they were they were running for the title and all that. And the coach made this know that guys, we are not challenging for the title. And Chelsea actually fell off. in the title race. So they were only the one. The title was theirs. In fact, if they didn't want to win it, they would have eventually they would have won the title. Do you understand? So like I said, there are a lot of flaws that I see in the tactics. I'm not going to. I don't want to. I don't, because essentially I'm not a coach. Do you understand? I can only give an opinion. But there are a lot of flaws. But then again, the key word, or let me say, the key thing I want to amount actually is the fact that his recruitment, strategy is questionable.
I don't think it was though.
Because you had.
He tried to buy everyone he should buy.
No.
What did he need that he didn't get?
I don't think you should have gotten an Isak and a Ekitike.
I don't think they planned. I don't think both him and the board tried to buy Ekitike and Ishak. Their plan was always Ishak. They tried to bait Newcastle by saying, if you don't give us Ishak, we're gonna go for Ekitike. And they did go for Ekitike, and well, I say it was kind of simple. They got Ekitike, but they still wanted Ishak.
Essentially, okay. I'm going to, if that's the case, then I'm going to say I think Frimpong is a misfit for this Liverpool squad.
He's not even playing, so why would we?
And that's my point. So why have you gone?
Bradley's playing.
Why have you gone to bring him in? Why have you gone to bring him in? Because in the first place,
not playing. Is that why Liverpool are losing?
Frimpong, he plays. If you watch Liverpool last season, and his slot is the kind of, because in fact, Trent and Arnold had, I think, his lowest, offense contribution in about 4 or 5
Maybe because
years.
his head was already, in Spain. He was taking Duolingo courses.
That's not the reason. That's
He
not
was
the reason.
taking Spanish courses on Duolingo for Real Madrid.
He actually required, Arnold to play deep. He required Arnold not. Arnold was always been an attacking right back and all that. He required him to play deep. Arnold was making, line cutting passes from deep. So Arnold essentially last season was playing more as a defensive fullback, or let me say right back. Do you understand? He was playing more as a. Now you have now gone in to bring a Frimpong, who is essentially to me I think is just as good as a winger. Now
he knows what he was bringing in. Kirkers as well is an attacking fullback. The manager wants to attack. That is there in the numbers as well.
Exactly, Kekes is an attacking fullback, and then again you watch Liverpool now. Where is Kekes? He's playing defensively. Because he's playing defensively, and that's even questionable. You see Kekes playing defensively. Kekes was one of the best, left backs. I think aside maybe Cucurella or Robinson, he had, the highest the goal contribution as a left back. Do you understand? This guy is clearly good on the attack. Now you're using him more as a defensive left back, which I think that's a misfit to the kind of provider he is. Frimpong as well, I believe that Frimpong as well. Frimpong is actually a mismatch in this, and a slot setup, because he actually requires his right back to play very, very deep, and it is very strange seeing him. Going for somebody like that.
Let's go on a very quick commercial break. We're back from this commercial break, because I still don't. He has us for the manager, but it's not because of the manager that Salah is missing the chances he's missing, or Ishak is struggling, to convert, one-on-ones with the goalkeeper. Let's go on a quick commercial break. When we're back, we'll take messages and we'll take calls. But very firstly, let's go on this quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
You sabi do this hairstyle or not? Hello, madam. No, they use me watch film now.
Customer, no vex. I dey learn the style for YouTube like this.
You get data to the press phone like that.
Na data from MTN Oyato I dey use like this so. For just 400 naira when I load, they summer me 7 minutes of calls and 600 MB data.
You be different kind hairdresser.
Upgrade your hustle with Oyato from MTN. You fit even get 15 minutes of calls with 2 gig on top for 800 naira. Dial *312*14# to join. Oyato.
Game. There are players and then Agba Ballers, MVP, Player of the Year, 10-0, no rival. Become an Agba Baller with a new improved Maggi chicken flavor made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric to bring out your top game in the kitchen. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor.
Get ready
ready for the latest football roundup. From the latest match highlights to in-depth analysis and expert opinions, we've got you covered. Whether it's the Premier League, La Liga, or the local leagues, Extra Time is where the football passion comes alive. Join us as we break down the biggest plays, celebrate the greatest goals, and debate the hottest topics. It's football like you've never heard before. Don't just watch the game, experience it with Extra Time. Tune in to Royal FM 95.1 every Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Extra Time. The game's never really over on Royal FM 95.1.
Alright, you're welcome back to Extra Time right here on Roll FM at 95.1. 0810-850-1371 is the phone line to call us on this evening. While WhatsApp is 0916-737-5588. Who is at fault for Liverpool's poor form? The manager or the players? 0810-850-1371 is the phone line. While WhatsApp is 0916-737-5588. Let's see if we can get this call first off. Hello, good evening. Good evening. What you know where you're calling us from?
Okay, from Tankin.
I didn't get your name. Opayemi from Tankin.
Yes.
Alright, let's have your thoughts, Opayemi.
I think it is the player that is at fault for Liverpool's downfall. Because the coach used maybe arguably the best squad he has. But let me ask you a question. Who is the better player right now? Would be the coach contribution, maybe Chiesa or Mohamed Salah?
Between who, Chiesa and Salah?
Yeah.
That's a tough question, though. That's a tough one. I mean, obviously,
if Chiesa playing time at that point, I think he's going to perform more than Mohamed Salah, because Mohamed Salah, maybe let me say, his age. Maybe age is stopping him in the Premier League. And also, Van Dijk, maybe they are just losing their form currently. I think if the player are really just not playing to that coach.
So
the coach should just give Chiesa playing time, because I think maybe the game against Manchester United, I think the main fault was that Mohamed Salah game against Galatasaray and also our last decade. I think Mohamed Salah, I'm not having him come in the wing. So maybe that is not functioning.
Alright, thank you very much, Okoye. Okoyemi says that right wing is not functioning for Liverpool, and it is the fault of the players. I was going to talk about that, and I did say it off air as well, that for this next two Liverpool games at the very least, tomorrow Champions League against Frankfurt, Brentford on Saturday in the Premier League, I actually don't want to see Salah stats.
Actually, essentially, I think he said the players are at fault, but then again, and he gave an illustration. He said Chiesa and.
So is it the manager's fault for not benching some of these players? Because
I think essentially he's just making my point for me. He's just making my point for me.
If it's that, I can agree that it is, yes, maybe the manager, and I did say that manager does have some faults by not benching these players. But then again, there are certain levels that are expected of these players that they are not delivering. And quite frankly, I think he's using his best 11. I think he's using his best 11 in terms of the expected ability and quality of the side. This is his best 11 and they're still not performing.
Yeah, definitely in terms of the expected.
So then again, it's not particularly the coach's fault.
The potential ability of the side and the expected level that we expect them to be. Yeah, we can say this is the best level. But as a coach, I believe that even while in training, you should be able to assess your own players. Is this guy? Yes, Isak is probably the best striker. I mean, behind.
I think Isak scores in training. I think Salah too scores in training.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not there as well. I'm just saying.
I'm not sure about that. Because as
can't
a
tell me
coach,
Salah is missing those chances that he's missing, and he's missing them in training.
I won't doubt it. Maybe he's missing it. He might be doing that because Salah this season has actually been out of form. And you have people that are blazing. You have Chiesa that comes off the bench, get things done for you, and you are still putting him on the bench. Essentially, you have Ekitike in his first 4 games. He lit up the Premier League, and you are putting him on the bench for somebody who did have a preseason. Putting him on the bench. Why?
Didn't Ekitike start against Galatasaray? That was their second back-to-back loss. It started that loss. What did he do on that day? He had a chance as well. He didn't score. So I get it. Ekitike was in fine form. But I think more of the issues that he's had was because of his own stupidity by taking the shot. I think that kind of added that free will. So Ishak can say, yeah, Ishak is gonna have to start more games going forward for Liverpool. And I'm thinking about it. Mo Salah, I don't think it's about age. I really don't think it's about age because he runs the same. He still kind of has that same pace. It just kind of feels like a certain level of, should I say, aggression now in terms of, I want to score this goal. It's not there. 20 minutes in against United, there was this chance that fell for them on the counter-attack. He moves into central midfield, passes the ball straight to Ishak. I think that was the first chance that they had. And I was thinking, all right, this is great. And that was it from Salah in that game.
I think
that was it. Let me see if I can get this goal first off. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name? Where you calling us from?
I'm Isaac calling from Daisy.
Isaac, how are you doing? Speak to us.
I'm fine. Honestly, I see because if you say die-hard Liverpool fans, I'm a die-hard Liverpool fan. The fault is on our manager, honestly. Because when the season starts, Ekitike was firing. And suddenly he just bent Ekitike and started using Isak. And for Mo Salah, honestly, it is catching up with him. I think Chiesa is doing good. They could have bent Salah and they're using Chiesa. And for Gravenberch, they should just play his normal 6. But the guy is one of their problems too, Gravenberch, honestly, because he's not doing well this season.
All right. Thank you very much for your thoughts. He says he's an hard Liverpool fan, hardcore Liverpool fans. But he thinks it is the manager that is at fault. I don't want to take that aside. It doesn't look like it's age that is Salah's problem. I'm sorry, let me see. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. What's your name? Where you calling us from?
My name is Mr. Brown from Anambra State.
All right, Mr. Brown, let's have your thoughts.
A Liverpool fan.
Oh, you're a huge Liverpool fan. All right, speak to us. Who's at fault for the problem?
Last caller, what you said is actually the problem. Our problem is our coach. The coach doesn't know what he's doing. That's a match of Man U. He goes on his name. But I don't know the problem with the manager. Our left to back, Kekes, has nothing to do with that match. He's supposed to be Roberts in there. Okay, look at when he was looking for goal. How will he go and move on our midfield? Not putting one. The same problem he has against Chelsea. So I think the man is confused. Now that he's supposed to sit down and use his own, he's confused. He is our problem and I'm setting for his sack immediately so that we can get ourselves back because I don't see him going forward with Liverpool. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown as well is pointing the fingers at Anish. Before I get your point, Obama, Sean also just is in the studio. Sean, who is exactly at fault for this? Because I do agree to some extent. Yes, it is the players. Barmy agrees with me as well to some extent. He says I agree that he's the manager to some extent. He says it's the players to some extent. But we kind of disagree as to who has the bigger fault here. Who for you has the bigger fault for Liverpool's 4-4?
Yeah, for me, I think it would be so hard and uncalled for Liverpool fans asking for the sack of a man who just won the Premier League.
But he just lost 4 games in a row as well. That was last season.
Pep Guardiola lost 6 or 7 thereabouts on his streak, and he's still the manager of Manchester City. So to say,
some of us on this show said maybe you should do that as well.
Sometimes manager bans came in play, and Slot has enjoyed that momentum. And right now, everything is backfiring. Looking at the players, I think the players more fault than the manager.
I'm saying he enjoyed manager bounce. Okay, thank you. You agree with me. But first, I was saying that Anish Slot enjoyed manager bounce for an entire season.
It happens to an MPFL side. Ikorodu City, for Kenyala.
I think
they were.
But that was in between the season. That was after what? 8 games.
8 games and they started picking points left, right, center till the end. This is ended. So for me, sometimes it's not the manager, it's the player. Look at Van Dijk right now. He's not the Van Dijk I could call in any time in the day. His errors has been costing Liverpool Football Club, but nobody talk about that.
Konate also had his own errors earlier in the season.
Can you see that? Mohamed Salah is not Mohamed Salah of last season.
I think
and it happens in football.
It's essentially down to the way the manager has been using them. If you look at Liverpool setup, like I said, I didn't want to go into the tactics and all that, but if you look at their setup, they set up in possession, they want to play out from the back and all that. You see Gravenberch, coming to from a back three with and then you look at the midfield, there's nothing there. Now you have Szoboszlai who on paper is playing right back. Do you understand? You see him moving to the midfield. Szoboszlai is not the best ball carrier. He's not the best player when it comes to the half turn or this thing. They have problems progressing the ball.
Been their best player.
And And
he has been their best player.
Probably because Gravenberch is not at his best as well. Gravenberch helped them with that last season.
I think because he has brought in Kekes and he has brought in an attacking right back, and that's Frimpong.
Yeah, he's not using.
Bradley as well. If you watch Bradley, I think he wants to use him the way he's using Frimpong. Do you understand? He essentially wants to use him as a winger. So now Kekes I think they are forming a back five with Konate, Van Dijk, Gravenberch and Kekes. They are forming a back four. Do you understand? If you watch them, the way they play, with Gravenberch dropping into the midfield, and Gravenberch those days, especially last season, he doesn't form a back whatever with them. He was always in the midfield. He was very good on the half turn. He was always in the midfield to receive the ball and recycle the ball. Now he's now required to be in the back line.
I think
which clearly is not helping Liverpool.
I think another thing we should highlight is just those new signings. Those 4 guys that they just brought to Liverpool Football Club. Maybe they are not on the standard of Liverpool. Maybe they are still under their shed. Because so to say, oh, we will sign a player for £1 million or thereabouts, and he couldn't give you any outputs. Isa comes to mind. Kekes comes to mind. Frimpong comes to mind. I think those are those things that could have been their major problem. You are signing the players to relieve and to improve the squad. Where are those players?
That was through Ayub El Kabi in the 53rd minute. According to the 55th minute, Fermin Lopez had given Barcelona a 2-goal advantage heading into the break, scoring in the 7th and 39th minute of that game. Meanwhile, also is a good game to see as well. Kairat against Pafos. There's currently nil-nil between both sides, and Pafos are at the man center as since the 4th minute of the game. It's still deadlocked between both sides. Arsenal take on Atletico Madrid by 8 p.m. and this is the lineup that's been released by both sides. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has gone for David Raya in goal. The same back four, not the same back four that we've seen. He's made one change in left back with Luis Kelly replacing Calafiori, so Gabriel Saliba and Timber all over their place. The same midfield that we saw this weekend in Zubimendi, Eze and Declan Rice. Gyökeres leads the line, Bukayo Saka captains the side, and Gabriel Martinelli comes in for Leandro Trossard. Atletico Madrid have gone for their 4-4-2. Oblak in goal, Anko in left back, Lenormand and Jimenez centre backs, as well as Lorente on the right hand side. The 4 in the midfield, we see Gonzalez, Koke, Barrios and Simeone. At the front 2 is Alvarez and Soloff. We'll see Bayer Leverkusen as well take on Paris Saint-Germain. Same time, 8 p.m. is the lineup used by Oilman for Bayer Leverkusen. Flecken in goal, Angrick, Baude and Tapsoba, the back 3. Arthur Fernandez, Garcia, Grimado, the midfield 4. Echeverri, Poku and Kofani, the front 3. We are seeing some players back as well for Paris Saint-Germain. Chevalier in goal, Akimi, Zebani, Patrick Mendes, the back 4. Zaire Mary, Vitinha, Due, the midfield 3, Bakola, Mayulu, and we're also seeing the returning Kvaratskhelia take on the right hand side for Paris Saint-Germain. Thanks to the guys for joining us on the program. We're back tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Going to be unpacking these games and looking at the games that are coming up tomorrow as well. Thanks to Obayami and Chio for joining us. My name is Philip Ulide. Coming up next is a night train cruise with myself and Dapo Dudu. You don't want to miss that. Do well to enjoy the rest of your night.
Get ready for the latest football roundup. From the latest match highlights to in-depth analysis and expert opinions, we've got you covered. Whether it's the Premier League, La Liga or the local leagues, Extra Time is where the football passion comes alive. Join us as we break down the biggest plays, celebrate the greatest goals and debate the hottest